You're here. Okay.
Hello, it seems that we're live. Sorry, we're just a couple minutes late. We were having some technical difficulties, as usual.
I was going to say, what's new?
Oh my goodness. But it started smoother this time.
Yes.
Started smoother, I believe. Okay. So friends, hello. Welcome to today's talk. You can see we have some beautiful wraps out to look at. But first, I would like you to, in the comments, tell us who's here and where you're from. If you care to share that information, I would love it.
Yeah. And, okay.
Cecilia's a real talker.
That's just mean.
She's not. Oh, I do want to pull up the comments on my phone. Sorry, I'm just going to pull up the stream on my phone so that I can actually read the comments. We've moved the computer a little farther away from us today, so
One person.
do we have one? Is there one person with us? I thought I saw two. Oh yeah, one person. And it could be just us. We don't really know. Okay.
From Florida.
Okay. We don't have a name.
Pensacola. Pensacola? How do you pronounce that?
Pensacola? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's correct.
Yeah.
I can't seem to log in. I swear to God, I don't normally have this many problems.
Well, because
Why?
well, actually,
Yeah, you have the same problem. It's like there's the live. I click on it. Oh, we gotta turn that on.
Okay, there we go. There we go.
Okay, so Cecilia and I have been talking. We'll just chat. We've been talking about baby wraps, obviously. This is what we do for a living. We weave baby wraps, if you didn't know. And we do a lot of, we do some fancy details, but we've noticed in the last couple of years, really, it's
really amped up. It's definitely been
I would say since COVID. Here's what I saw. Okay. The handwoven industry was getting busier. We hit COVID and we had a drop. And people just, baby wearing groups weren't getting together anymore. Everybody had other worries. They weren't as worried about baby wearing. And then it was a real switch. I feel like
when people could live again, kind of.
When people started to live again, it was like a whole new crowd. The whole thing, everything changed.
Yeah.
And I would say that's about when we started seeing.
But in my opinion, at that point, it started kind of back. We kind of went back to trends that were trendy years prior.
Oh, that's true.
And then it was a quick progression, though. Whereas the previous kind of era had taken a long time, slowly worked its way up. This time it was just
right. We were fortunate enough to be in the community at the beginning of the handwoven, I'll say boom. I don't know. It used to be there were no handwovens on the market. There was one company, Pamir. It wasn't even a company. It was one person that wove handwoven baby wraps. And we came in shortly after that, just when people were starting to be like, hey, we can weave baby wraps. And I was like, yeah, I want to weave my own baby wraps. So that's how we started. And when we started, nobody was doing hand dyed anything.
No.
Nothing. No hand dyeing.
It was just factory dyed yarn. Mostly just stripes.
Stripes.
A lot of grads.
That kind of thing.
No any details. It was all hemmed edges.
It would be plain weave or twill.
Yes.
Plain weave or twill. People were working on 4-shaft looms for the most part.
We got some hearts. That was a big deal.
Hearts were a big deal, yeah. And then we started, there was a group on Facebook called Loom to Wrap. And I think that they were really transformational at the beginning. Mm-hmm. They brought handwoven baby wearers together, and the weavers, we were all in that one place. And they started running competitions. And it would be a competition once a year. I think it was just once a year. And that, I really, truly feel like those competitions shaped the baby wearing world in those early days. And that's when we were like, hey, that's when I did my first dye work. I was
really pushed people.
It really pushed us. And now when I think back, like if we look back on those competitions, the winning wraps were probably laughable based on today's standards. Like laughable is maybe
like, I mean, amazing
harsh.
pieces of work, but like
not what people are doing today. Like
no.
they're very basic. But that got people starting to want to dye, and then a few people started doing hand dyed, and then eventually, like if you're not doing hand dyed, you're kind of not even in a game anymore. And then it's just progressed so much since then. And then fancy, everybody started getting 16 chap loom. If you didn't have a 16 chap loom, like I don't know, it was tough.
It was like then you're just known to be simple.
Yeah, you just do simple,
which is fine.
Which is fine.
Some people love that.
I love simple.
I love that too.
I love a nice plain weave. Like honestly, plain weave is simple, but it's not easy. It's not easy. No. I mean, I guess it's easy if you're treadling a pattern. That's easy, but it's difficult to get it perfect.
Skip, and then it's
any mistakes show up like a scar.
Yeah.
Anyways, we've been rambling. I'm gonna look at the comments. Oh hey, hi Kathy. I'm so glad you came. Nice to see you here. I would love to hear your input on. I know you haven't been weaving. I think it's. Did you say 4 years? I think that's what you told me recently. I think my memory is not always great. So you would have come in sort of as this change had already taken place, I'll say. So we started doing hand dyeing, and then we started doing a little bit of lace work, like here. I don't know if you can see this that well. So just some lace work, and then we started adding crystals, but we decided we wanted to use Swarovski crystals. So I've got Swarovski crystals in here.
Some other kinds of lace work.
Our screen is flipped, so it's really hard for us to. It's hard for me, anyways. Everything's backwards.
Fringe is one of the first.
Oh yeah, you're right.
That was the first.
Right. We started doing fringe.
When lace work and inlays were the thing.
Originally, everything had a hemband. I almost never did fringe on the end.
I wouldn't even have thought of fringe.
Fringe was being done occasionally on machine wovens, but not commonly. And in fact, here's another funny thing. Like machine wovens, the tails are on an angle. They're not straight across. So people would be like, does that wrap have a square end?
Yeah. I remember people questioning that.
And people thought that was kind of weird because everybody was using machine wovens and they all had an angled end. So then, so we started using some crystals here and there. And that was like our version of super fancy, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you can even see those crystals in there. Kathy says, I came in when lacework and inlays were the thing. Yeah. And then
inlays would be, I feel like inlays would have been foreign a few years ago. Not a few, I guess. It feels like a few years ago, but
so this is
7 years ago.
These are inlays. I'm not sure how well they show up, but it's a different yarn and it's just laid in. And it adds a lot of texture. It adds a lot, really, I think. I really like inlays. Edge to edge inlays, as Cecilia likes to say. We don't always necessarily love them when we just put them in here and there.
We don't even have any, I don't think, in to show because we've sold a bunch that way. We used to do them all that way, but just through progression and seeing what I prefer, we now mostly just do full width.
Yeah, because you can tuck those ends in and they're not just sort of out. It's easier to tuck the ends in, and I don't know.
It just feels more kind of the point of why we're even discussing it. Just it feels more practical and usable as a tool, which is what a baby wrap is.
Right. And then there's like little ladders. These are little. I like these ones again. So here's the concern we have with this type of thing. I mean, these are little. It's not a big deal. If it's on the tail of your baby wrap, it's decorative. It's pretty. But little fingers, like it's not that big a deal. Like I don't think you're gonna hurt your baby's toes or anything. But your rings might catch them and pull. That is a bit of a danger with everything.
With any added detail.
Right. Cecilia was talking about, we were talking before we started, and she was saying how she's noticed floats have been getting longer. Not necessarily in what we're doing, but I haven't really, I don't think, noticed much, but she's noticed in some other, just some baby wraps that she has seen, they've had pretty long floats, which, they're just prone to catches. And like if you're wearing rings, I don't wear rings that catch things.
And also, this is unrelated but plays a part, is that I feel like thicker warps and wefts have really become more popular. And along with that, the floats even seem bigger because they're crossing over obviously wider distances. And so when the floats even get 1 or 2 picks larger to get a look that people want, then they're actually significantly larger than they used to be when we would use a lot thinner fibers.
Right. Yeah. Sometimes this isn't maybe that nice of a thing to say, but I swear sometimes I feel like if I look at a baby wrap and it looks like it's about to fall apart, that's what people love. I swear.
Sometimes it feels that way.
It feels that way. I look and people are going crazy. They love this wrap. And I'm like, it looks like it's about to fall apart though. I don't know. Okay, Kathy says, have those thicker warps have gotten more popular because people like the texture or because it's less work for us? Good question, Kathy. It is less work for us, to be sure. So maybe that's it, because the weavers are spending so much time doing inlays and color changes and
embroidery, which we haven't even touched on yet.
We haven't even, there's a bunch of stuff we haven't even touched on. You're right. Maybe they're just trying to simplify where they can, and that's in the warp.
I do see people are looking for, like when they put ISOs out, and maybe it's just because it's what's popular, because it's what's out there now, but like chunkier wraps, toddler worthy wraps, and those are often thicker. That's not even true though, because I have lots of thin wraps that are completely toddler worthy that I put up my 4 and 5-year-olds in. But
I think trends just change too, because when I started, we were all kind of starting. We were all using 8-2 cotton, and that was sort of the norm, I would say. And wraps were heavier. Like we were beating them hard. We were trying to follow all the rules. And I remember consciously thinking, because everybody was always saying, oh, what's the GSM on your wrap? What's the GSM?
Oh
what's the GSM?
We used to, every wrap would weigh.
We'd weigh, measure, figure out the GSM. But that's the thing with machine wovens, to give you an indication of how sturdy, robust, thick it's going to be. It's not really that big of an indicator with a hand woven, right?
It's not always.
But I remember consciously thinking, oh God, I got to get these wraps thinner. Like they're so thick, I got to make them thinner. And actively making them like, oh, and I'd be like, oh, that one's so thin. I remember like squeezing a wrap across the width.
Okay,
and be like, look at how little this is. Like, it's so thin. And thinking that was like the cat's meow. Like thinking that was great. I did 900 ends on this wrap, and it's so nice and thin because I used the thinnest. Anyways, now I feel like it's more variable. Yeah. I think it's some people are doing thin. Sometimes some warps are thin. Some warps are thicker. It's just setting up that expectation. That's not always easy. I'm just going to show you this because I think it's gorgeous. Cecilia did this little bit of lace work at the top of a ring sling. And that's a really nice little touch. There's no hazards there.
You're not pulling that through the rings at all. You're not pulling it through a knot.
Right, because another thing we worry about is when people are, getting like crystals and then they're yanking it through the rings, could cause problems. Like if you're not being careful, like you just have to be more careful, right?
You definitely have to be more delicate with your wraps with all of these things.
Right, so that's kind of what we wanted to talk about, was like how delicate do you have to be? Like, and is it worth it? Like, what's the trade-off? Do you need to be delicate with your baby wraps? And is that...
My kids grab wraps off the shelves and drag them around the house until they find me. And they're like, put me up in this. I'm like...
Yeah, and like how...
I just have to be aware that that's going to be happening to my wraps. And so it's like, do you keep your wraps then in like a super safe place?
In a baby-proof area for your baby wraps?
Like I love... Like, I don't know, personally, and everybody has different views on this, obviously, but personally, I love my kids just being able to grab whatever they want, to be able to bring it to me.
Right.
I want them to have the autonomy and the choice, which just works for us in our house.
Yeah, so dragging silk across. I mean, I suppose if you have a housekeeper that comes in and keeps your house clean and your floors are always perfect, that doesn't matter so much. But if you've got a silk wrap and, most moms are not mopping their floors every day, I mean, let's be real. I don't know that I'd want that.
Yeah.
So when I was a baby wearing, my baby is nearly 16 now, I did have one of those Premier hand woven wraps woven by that one woman. It's weird that I don't know her name, but I had one, and it was like natural yarn. If it was not dyed, it was white. It was off white. And I felt a lot. I spent $1,000, which back then was a lot. It was a lot. I spent $1,000 on that wrap. And I sold most of my wraps that I had that were machine woven, my baby carriers, my wraps, to buy this one wrap. And then I felt uncomfortable wearing it. It didn't feel, and it was cotton. And I just didn't feel comfortable. I'm like, it's white. I'm going to get a stain. I'm going to ruin it. And then I won't. So I ended up trading it to getting more stuff.
It's actually funny that you say that, because I have an all white cotton wrap, and I'm not careful. Like, I mean, I won't drag it on the outside. Yeah.
Did you weave it, or I wove? One of us wove it. And it's cotton.
Yeah. And I wash it. And
mine was cotton too.
Yeah, but I just mean, like, it's. You definitely realize wraps can handle a lot more than you think.
Well, that's true too.
But then there are also.
Kathy says, to me, a wrap is a tool, an item to be used. It's dragged all over the floor. It's made to be used. Yeah, it is. It's not made to be folded in a neat stack to be photographed and showed off on Facebook. Well, yeah, that's a valid opinion. But also, I think it's also valid that for the people that do want to fold them up and show them on Facebook, like, I think that's 100% valid. Like, that's their art collection, right?
And it is totally something that it's like, oh, I kind of lost my train of thought. But, like, you get this thing made for you, and it's an expression of yourself. And if you have the ability to buy these really expensive things, then it just feels sometimes to me that it's like
if you're a car collector and you go to car shows and you show off your cars. You don't drive those cars. Right? Well, that's true, though.
It's true.
You don't drive those cars. Like, you might drive them, like, off your vehicle and into the lot where you're showing it. But most people aren't driving.
For me, the issue comes when that is made out to be the norm and what people should have and what people should be trying to have. So they'll, like, say, sell all their, like you did with the Premier. You sold all your wraps that you wore all the time.
That I loved, and I missed some of them so much.
And then to get this one piece that everybody has made you feel like you should have, because it's going to elevate your baby wearing journey. It's going to elevate your life. You need this. And then it's like, I mean, you didn't need it.
I didn't need it. And then when I had it, I was like, oh, I missed that one wrap that I sold for $55. I remember it well. I was like, I just want that wrap back. Like, I missed it so much. And I never did get it back.
If you can have, like, beautiful pieces of work that are detailed and, like, harder to actually use, as well as things that you actually can use, then that's great. But if you can only have one or the other, I think that is detrimental to the community when people think that they have to have the most detailed one of the bunch, and that makes it special, and that makes it important to them, even though,
well, if it's important,
but I mean, if it's like, in terms of maybe buying secondhand, like, people think it should be important to them because
it's important to other people in their
exactly.
community. Yeah, our community is made up of a lot of different people, right? Some people are saving up and getting one piece, and that's what they have, and they've saved up, and that's their piece, and they love it. And I hate it when they feel like they're less than because they see people with stacks and stacks. They shouldn't feel less than. And that shouldn't take away from the person who can afford and has the stacks and stacks, because that's completely valid too. You're allowed to have your own, like, oh, I've got stacks and stacks of crafting supplies and yarn. Like, it's okay to have something that you love and you want to dive in with both feet. And if you can afford that, that's fantastic. I'm all for it. I am 100% all for that. I just don't want the other people to feel bad or left out or like they're not enough or they're not good enough. It's just it's like everybody owns a car, but not everybody has cars that they take to car shows. Like that's kind of
Yeah.
a decent analogy, I think. Let's look at one of these other pieces, Cecilia. Oh, this is one we really like. And this is just like color blocks. Like we did lots of color
It
blocks.
has inlays as well, actually.
Oh
but-
yeah, the inlays I find really help define the color blocks.
But we could have also equally done smaller color blocks to create the same effect.
We could have, but this warp was actually dyed so that it was like the colors you see. We highlighted the color that was already in the warp with the weft. You can see here how it's starting to change, you know, and then we changed. Oh, it goes this way. And then we changed the weft.
So that's a nice way to add detail without affecting the functionality at all.
Right. This is so super sturdy. I love this one. That's so nice.
Yeah, I see a lot actually in like really detailed wraps. I'm kind of showing this one just to show
Sure.
it has more detail in terms of things like this, where I'll see a lot of embroidery and I question. I mean, it's like beautiful. I'm like, can't stop looking at it when I'm seeing like loom pictures or like flat lays. But I think, how does that look when it's on your body?
Oh yeah. Yes, I think that too. I'm like, that's gorgeous as long as it's laid out and taken a picture of. But when you're wearing it, you can't see that detail.
And I'm like, I just think I'm like, how many hours?
Hours and hours and
was
hours and
spent
hours
on this, and it's gorgeous. It's art. It should be on a wall.
That
But then-
reminds me, I'm going to interrupt you because
That's-
I'll forget my train of thought. I saw a wrap secondhand being sold the other day, and I almost died because it was being sold for like $350, and it was so detailed, and it had a very detailed embroidery on it, and it was a longer wrap. It wasn't short. It wasn't a ring sling. And I thought that wouldn't even cover minimum wage hours. It wasn't being sold from the weaver, so I get that. It's like it's been through a few hands probably by now. But it just breaks my heart. Like there's no value on this wrap now. Like this wrap isn't being valued by anybody. It broke my heart as a weaver. I felt a little devastated seeing that. I used to feel really devastated just seeing, like after the pandemic and after things came back, the secondhand market for wraps was more saturated and the secondhand prices had dropped significantly. And I remember the first time seeing a wrap that was being sold for like what equivalent to like $50 a meter. And I was a little devastated at that, knowing the work that goes into these things. But now that's the norm for secondhand, I think. Like, and then to see now that all these fancy add-ons that are taking hours and 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 hours, days,
Weeks sometimes.
are being also sold for pennies on the dollar. I like, it just breaks my heart. But I mean, that's a me thing. Like that's a weaver thing. Like I don't think that
Nobody's intentionally
no.
trying to undersell products. And if you can afford to sell it for cheaper, then it's a good thing almost for the community because more people are getting it. But then also it's like, it does feel like
It feels like a gut punch. I have left a few baby wearing groups just because it's too traumatic. It's traumatic to see. Oh, I'm sorry. I was going to show some more of this beautiful wrap Cecilia made. She's got lots of fun things on here. Sorry, I did see a couple more comments. I should read them actually. It's an item to be, I think I read this one. It's an item to be used, dragged all over the floor. Yeah. Of course, it's valid to have a collection. To me, it's just sad when wraps don't get used. It is. It is sad. Exactly. Form or function. Yeah. Like,
it does seem like some are one or the other. In terms of like some, it's like
it feels like it's going that way. Like some of them are like, it's like, it looks like a baby wrap, but it's not really because you can't really functionally use it, right?
yeah,
I feel that way.
yeah.
Yeah.
We try to make for us.
I love that.
Always like as our details. Obviously, any extra detail is going to minutely reduce the functionality. Obviously, like you're going to be more careful when there's embroidery. You just are going to. There's no.
I don't think it lessens the functionality though. It just means that you're going to be more careful. With
Yeah,
it.
that's what I should say.
Yeah.
You're going to be more careful, but we really try to do things that are I guess then not affecting the functionality. Does that make sense? Like smaller things and
Well, part of it is, I mean, let's be honest. We are not embroiderers. Like a lot of people
That's
are doing
true.
intense embroidery work. Well, I'm a weaver. Cecilia's a weaver. We can do some embroidery, but we are not doing like one of the most beautiful ones I remember ever. There's so many actually now that I'm saying. I've started talking. There's a little girl on a swing with her little hair braided in the back. Exactly. Love that piece. There's one with is it an octopus? I love it's gorgeous. Jellyfish? Yeah, jellyfish. I think there's an octopus one too though. There's like amazing pieces out there that I've seen, and like I wish I could embroider. Well, do I? I don't know. Do I wish I could? Because I don't really want to spend that much time. I'm not that patient. Like as a weaver, I have patience for some things, but not as much for other things. So I don't know. What else did you want to show, Cecilia? You brought that wrap out.
Well, just because it has some details on it, that's all. We already showed this actually last week though, so.
Oh, did we?
Yeah, it's just this one that has.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a really. Oh, and another weaver. So we're not the only people sharing information. There's another weaver that shared that with Cecilia, that technique, and love it. And that's so pretty. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we showed that in a video too, and we knew it was okay because the weaver shared it publicly. Well, was it publicly? It was with a group of weavers. So yeah. We've seen lots of weavers using it since. But it's so pretty. Anyways, I'd love to hear more opinions from you guys. I know Cecilia and I have been nattering on. Let me see. I love seeing those fancy embroideries, but I lack the patience to make them. That's exactly right. Probably because we won't see most of them when wearing anyways. Yes. Mm-hmm. That's it. It's like if you don't see a flat shot, you don't see it. Yeah, it feels like a shame to me to spend that much time and money. Let's be real. I'm hoping the people who are buying them are paying fairly. I assume they are. And I mean, I'm assuming the weaver's charging an appropriate amount for the time that they put into that. But no, I lost my train of thought.
We're not seeing them.
Oh, and then you don't see them. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah. And then you don't see it, and it's heart-wrenching.
And a lot of the times, like, I mean, different carries, obviously different parts of the wrap are showing or not showing. And I don't know, personally, I feel like I end up doing a lot of carries that I'm like, what is showing? Not the middle, not even really a specific spot. Like, obviously, when they're really little, mostly the middle was showing for me. But like a lot of times the carries I do have finishes and I'm twisting it all up. Like
oh yeah, and there's just little tails, barely little tails showing. Yeah. We try and get anything fancy, like very close to the bottoms of those tails.
And I love fancy things. Like I almost wish that fancy was more of a thing like when I was deep into my baby wearing. I still baby wear all the time, but I'm not buying new wraps, I'm not weaving myself new wraps because my youngest is 4. But I would have loved to have had a wrap that had all that detail, even though I realized that, like, it's one of those things where it's like, yes, I would have wanted one. I want one now. But, like, at the same time, I recognize that it's not that's functionally logical.
That's interesting.
It doesn't change the desire to have the beautiful thing.
I didn't know you felt that way. Bring this one over. It's so pretty. Oh, I just love it. Look at that. Oh, it's so gorgeous. Anyways, so we didn't talk about weave changes. I mean, those are like reasonably easy things to do for the most part.
Some weavers, I will say, do them so well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, it seems like such an easy thing. Like, how do you do that well? But sometimes I look at something and I'm like, wow, look at that embroidery. And then I'm like, it's not embroidery. It's a weave change.
Yeah.
They just did a weave change and a weft change, and it looks like embroidery.
Yeah. Yeah, like Luna, right?
I have no clue. Maybe.
Some beautiful. Yeah. There's just so many weavers out there. I really admire their work. So many. I just hope they're getting paid fairly enough. I hope. I know I do kind of worry. I mean, it's the silliest thing for me to worry about somebody else who's making a livelihood, but
no, it's true. I think that, since we started Robin's Nest so many years ago when it was at the beginning. People, any addition became like, oh yeah, of course I'm going to pay for that. Like that's a crazy thing. But now it's like there are also so many weavers out there that it's like people are almost like, no, I'll give you that for free. Just try my thing, try my weaving. Let me just add that on. No, really cheap. I'm learning. So and it's like you are learning, but you're still putting
the time,
hours and hours and hours into that.
Yeah.
And just because you've started your business recently and there's a lot of competition doesn't mean that you should undercharge. But also when so many people do it,
yeah,
what do?
You either, you either just stop or you just make your prices appropriately. But then that's the problem. You might not sell much.
And that's the problem.
Yeah.
And that's why it is a fear of like, are these people getting paid appropriately?
Yeah. Yeah, I had a weaver. I think she's a new weaver. Did you talk to her? Anyways, she said like this one detail was this big on one tail. She said she spent 3 days on. Like, and didn't she tell you? I feel like she didn't really get.
No, I don't know how much she got paid.
Oh,
she was questioning it in a group chat what she should.
Oh,
but clearly, what I got from it was that in her heart she knew it should be more, but she didn't want to. It just seemed like she was charging too much.
Right, even though that one detail took 3 days. That one detail,
and it was beautiful.
It was gorgeous. Gorgeous. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's a tricky, I know for sure people don't understand how long things take with weaving. Like every single thread, individual thread is, and we weave pretty fast, but it's still, every thread is one thread at a time. These things are built, right?
Even just like this piece has no details on it, but it is completely a color grad from tail to tail.
Let me see if I
and
can
it's
help.
not in the warp, it's in the weft. So all of the weft was all individually dyed. Each of these shades was individually dyed. Each of these shades had to be blended into each other during the weaving process.
Yeah.
So every little thing takes so much longer than people think.
It's such a subtle thing though. Like I don't know that people would even notice that was.
Even though when you hold the tails together,
yeah, they're different. There, you can see it better. Yeah, so I don't know. Sometimes I'm not sure that as gorgeous and lovely as that is, it might not be worth the effort. Even though I know that's one of your favorite pieces. Like, we love it. It's gorgeous. Was it worth the effort? I don't know. Like, it was a lot of extra work. I'm not sure. Anyways, making an object decorative without taking away its ability to be utilized is realistic design work. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So that's what we try and achieve doing. We try and achieve adding things that don't make them unusable. Yeah, I guess that's fair to say. Not that embroidery doesn't make things unusable. I see some, like our crystals, like we add them here and there, and they're little. We always make sure we add really little things in case a baby were to somehow manage to swallow one. It's little, it's going to pass. We're very careful about the size of.
Yeah, we think about
safety and babies.
Yeah,
I mean,
obviously.
Yeah. We're also, we're moms. I mean, I guess most baby wearers are moms. Like, it's a major concern for us.
Okay, where I think sometimes things are taken from decorative to not unusable by any means, but more specifically usable. Does that make sense? Like, you can do specific carries per se. It's when something, specifically embroidery, has a significant amount of beading on it.
Beading, yeah.
Not per se like at the tail or anything, but like middle markers or like randomly throughout. Because I'm like, when I pull my knots through, like I'm pulling through the other day I was wearing a carry and I had to pull my whole tail through a chest pass or through a, wasn't a chest pass, but whatever. I was pulling it. This one was tight. I was pulling it under it and the whole thing was getting dragged through. If there was beads all over that, like I wouldn't have done that carry with it, or else I would have taken a lot longer to do it, you know?
Yeah.
So I feel like that to me, when I see it, I'm like, oh,
It
it's
affects
so pretty.
functionality.
Yes.
Affects functionality. It doesn't necessarily eliminate functionality. It just means you have to use it in a specific way.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is kind of nice also, because you're like, oh, I'm doing this carry. Like, I'm going to pull out this wrap. Like, that could be its own little.
Yeah, you're right. That could be. As long as your baby likes that carry, like, what? Oh my God. And your baby hated that carry, it was like, no. That wrap would now means that carry. No, we're not doing that. That would be tragic. To me, that would be tragic. Kathy says, sometimes I do believe that embroidery makes a wrap worse. Yeah, sometimes. Sometimes I see it in places where it changes the wearing quality so much that I wouldn't want to have that on my wrap. Yeah. Well, I'm happy to hear that we share the same opinion, Kathy. I was hoping there'd be more people here and to discuss this conversation, because I'm sure there must be other people with different opinions, right? Because there's so many.
Wraps.
There's so many that are like that. That seems like to be the predominant. Maybe they're just the ones we see on Facebook, though.
That's true, because people are
showing
posting
off
their day-to-day wraps. They are, but they're not.
They're busy wearing them and not necessarily putting them all pretty and taking
And
photos.
like, when you're showing things off, you're probably showing off your prettiest,
Your
one,
fanciest.
your
biggest investment, right? You're going to show your Ferrari before you're showing your Honda Civic, right? Like, yeah.
So that could also, that is the case. We know as we weave wraps, we mostly, maybe that's a stretch. I was going to say we mostly make plain wraps.
We used to mostly make plain wraps. I don't know if that's
I know. I was like,
anymore.
oh, that's true anymore.
I don't know if we make hardly any. I think we did we just finish one?
On the loom right now.
It's on the loom. Is a very simple one warp.
One solid colored wet, solidish colored wet, no fringe.
Yeah.
No weave changes, no nothing.
Yeah.
I don't know if we gave them many options.
Yeah, Cecilia and I needed a little bit of a break. I've discussed it before. We had a really rough 2025 was a very hard year for us and all over the place. And we needed a bit of a break from being creative. Like it's again, the creativity doesn't just.
And with the creativity though, it comes a lot of, when people are spending that kind of money, they want it to be what they want. Very specifically, very to where it's, you have to be creative, but you don't actually get to be creative at all.
Yeah, it can be a lot. It's almost like I came out of, I worked as an esthetician for 20 years before I started as a weaver. And I remember I worked in salons all the time. And everybody would complain that to have a bridal updo was significantly more expensive. So people would be like, they wouldn't say, like, I know people that went in and didn't tell the stylist that they were a bride because they didn't want to pay the extra. And that's fine. If you don't tell them that they don't care. The reason why they charge extra when it's a bride is because the bride is extra picky and like very, very emotionally tied to everything that it just takes so much more mental work to do a bride. It's like when somebody's paying for a lot of fancy things, it's a lot more mental load, right? Would you agree to that? That's like the mental load when you're doing something that they have, they have a vision. They very rarely can get that vision to us clearly. It's very stressful. Like the anxiety level goes up. It's a lot more.
Every detail is like, well, should I do this or should I do this? And how should I do this? And then you're like, I can't even just ask them because we live on different sides of the world. They might be asleep right now. They might be busy with their kids. I cannot hold every single production because I think I know what I'm doing, what they want, but also what if I don't?
Right. Yeah, it's very stressful.
The anxiety and stress. Yeah. So we have taken back what we do a lot of.
Okay, Mrs. Tom says, I know you give your clients color choices inspirations, but do you also do it for weave structure? If so, do you show off options or do they send you inspirations? So the way we do it is when they fill out, we have a Google form that they fill out when they make their order, and we offer them. So we've already decided on the way we're going to thread the loom. So we offer them a panel of choices that they can choose from that threading. Yeah. So they choose whichever threading or not the threading, they choose the weave from the panel that they like, that we know will already work with the threading they did. Sorry. And on our website, we have examples. So if they want, we've named everything. So if they want like snakeskin 3, they can go on our website into our, I don't know where they go, into the FAQs and look at weave panels. And they can Google the specific, they want to look up snakeskin. Sorry, not Google. They can search for snakeskin and it'll show them, and it'll say snakeskin 1, snakeskin 2, snakeskin.
So they can see examples of every weave that we offer.
Yeah, they can. Yeah, I don't think there's any that we don't have actual examples of. There might be 1 or 2 ones that we either haven't done or we haven't done in a long time before we had exhaustive pictures of every single thing. Now we have lots of pictures of every single product that's woven in the studio.
So yeah, they do get to choose, but within reason, because we choose first.
Yeah, we choose the threading and then they choose from there. And even sometimes, like, we might choose a threading and give them like 5 or 6 options. There might be more options, but we just have to limit it, or else it becomes a stumbling point for people. They can't decide, and so that stops them from making an order because there's too many choices and they can't make a decision. So sometimes we find it's easier to give less choices, helps them make decisions easier. Mm-hmm. And we do guide, we help people. If sometimes people will say, you choose. Okay, we love that. We love that. We really love it when it's a customer we know. Like if it's somebody we've worked with before and we know their style, we know the kinds of things they like, then we can confidently make those decisions.
Things such as weave, you choose for weave options, I find it super easy because for the most part, none of them are bad. I mean,
yeah,
actually,
we don't offer bad choices.
So I'm always just like, okay, this one is my favorite, or this one I haven't seen much on this warp, or this one seems to be other people's favorites. Sometimes I change around what makes me make the decision, but
we also have another one. They choose, but did I miss one? How do you balance design in your market? Oh, how do you balance design for your market versus time management, sunk cost? That's a good question. I don't know how to answer it.
We have just spent years.
I feel like we grew into it, right? Slowly, we keep growing. We just add. Sometimes we add stuff that we think, oh, this is going to be perfect, and then, we're backpedaling. We're like, no, that didn't work out for us. We hated that.
We're like, oh no, actually, we thought that it would make sense to do this for this price, but turns out
doesn't make sense.
It takes. Yeah,
that has happened. That has 100% happened to us, where we're
like, no, we're not making any money on this at all. Actually,
we are. This is not a good move on our part. So
and then we just change.
And then we just change it up for the next time. That's a good thing. Like it's warp by warp for the most part, right? Sometimes we'll put out, like we have in the past put up like 6 warps at once, and then you kind of stuck with what you decided. But we don't do that on things when we're making changes. We would never make a big change and then put up 6 warps.
I mean, we did make a big change and then put up like 3.
Yeah, we regretted our life choices at that point. We did.
Yeah.
But then we took a step back. All right. Kathy says, you choose can be nerve-wracking. It can be nerve-wracking. More so on the dyeing side, I think, but actually
sometimes on details.
On details, yeah. I like things really detailed. Do what you want. Oh gosh.
Like,
so we're like, well, how much are you willing to pay? Like that's so now
a budget.
So now what we're doing is we say, okay, so we're thinking this, and this is how much it's gonna cost. You okay with that? We'll send you an invoice. Yeah, they're okay with that. We send them an invoice before we do any work, because
that is the most stressful.
That's the most stressful thing. Yeah, it is. It is the most. Thankfully, my partner, he does all the billing, all the invoicing, all that kind of stuff, which is nice, because I feel uncomfortable having that part of the relationship with our customers. Like, I'm happier to be the creative and he is the business guy and he's comfortable talking money with people where I'm not as comfortable with that, right?
Yeah, we're much more likely to be like, yeah, we'll just do that. We'll just throw it in for sure.
That's Cecilia.
That's all the time. I'm like, no, but I know this person. This is like the third rep. They're gonna like this.
Yes.
I'm just gonna spend an hour to do this for free.
Hour, 3 hours, 4 hours. I've seen you spend a half a day easy doing something that you're like, I'll just do it. I'll just throw it in. No big deal. Half a day. Like, that's a lot of work.
Yeah.
So we're guilty.
That's why
we worry about weavers getting paid. Yeah, I guess that's fair. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it would be wonderful if nobody had to pay for anything. That's not reality or life, is it? Let me see. Any more comments? To me, it's always the most stressful from the moment I put it in the mail until I hear from the customer.
I feel like the moment it's gone, I'm like,
yeah, on to the next thing.
Now you're good. You now have that. I don't have it, so you have it.
We've had times where we're shipping like 6 things a day for days on end. Like we don't think once they're shipped, they're gone. They're dead to us. Like we don't.
They're dead to us. That's maybe a stretch.
That's maybe a stretch, but like we really don't. That's true. I think I've become numb to that a little bit.
I love seeing like photos when they get it, but not. I would say the majority of people do not send any pictures. Don't even say anything when they get it.
No,
we just know that the shipping got to them.
Yeah, for the most part. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, got to them, and I guess they're happy. We didn't hear that they weren't happy, so that's a good thing. Yeah, if they're not happy, we hear about it immediately. That's pretty universal, I think, probably for all of us. I was gonna go back to I choose the dye decisions on the weft. I do like that. It is stressful and it's a little more pressure on me, but sometimes it has happened where a customer makes a choice that I don't agree with, but I do it anyways, and I usually regret listening to them. And then sometimes they're not happy with their product, and it's really hard when I did what they asked me to do and then I didn't like it. It's hard. That's definitely a bridge I don't like crossing ever. Yeah.
But then sometimes it's like you really think something's going to be horrible,
and
then you do it. It's amazing, and it's like
that has happened too. One of my most favorite pieces was one of
orange
those.
One. No, what were you
the deep.
Oh,
with the gold. I don't know what I was thinking. It was early on ish into my hand dyeing. I remembered thinking that's a really wild choice. It was a gold weft she chose for like a blue and purple. I think it was like blue and purple and most
like a lot of teal.
Warp. I just thought that was a wild choice, and then I put it on, and there's like 3 picks, and I'm like, this is magic. This was the best choice that's ever been made in life. This is amazing. I knew it immediately, and it's still to this day one of my favorite pieces. But it's kind of like this feel, like that gold. Like, what would it be if you used purple? It would be nothing. Even if you use blue, that would be like, well, but this gold, oh, that just makes it. I just didn't. I don't know why I didn't realize that before. I used to be a makeup artist. Like I should have realized how colors work together, but I don't know. Anyways, I see some more comments. Need to value that time. Yeah, gorgeous. Thank you. Yeah. So, does anyone have anything else that we didn't discuss that you would like to discuss that we didn't mention? Any more opinions on add-ons for wraps
or unrelated questions
or unrelated questions? Yeah, absolutely. You could ask us anything. Almost. I mean, you can ask us anything. It doesn't mean we're going to answer it. I was going to talk about, just because it's sitting right in front of me, the way we do our ring slings. We do, it's called an Eastie shoulder. People call it a hybrid, but we think this is the best with hand wovens. We hate might be a strong word. We don't love gathered. Is that the right one? Where it's just all the way across. You just fold it over so it all
wide.
It ends up being like on your arm. So how do you have no mobility on this arm when you're wearing your ring sling.
You're gonna have to shove it up.
Whereas with this, it cups your shoulder. Yeah. So we definitely prefer that shoulder. We have a very firm preference on that, for sure. I'm gonna put that out there.
In fact, did we increase our?
We put the price up a little bit for the gathered shoulder to try and discourage people from ordering it, to be honest. That's the reason. Yeah, because we don't think it's the right choice. And sometimes people really insist. Usually those people are coming from a machine woven. They've used machine woven wraps or like, linen cotton that's not hand woven. And it's different when they're thin wraps like that. But with a hand woven, it's a little meatier. It's not the play. It's not the way to go. No.
So do you have a favorite pattern to weave?
Cecilia does most of the weaving, so we'll let her answer. Is it that one right there?
I like this one. This one. I find it beautiful. I don't think I have a favorite. I just have a not favorite, which is undulating twill.
Oh. What do you have against undulating twill?
I don't know. I have bad memories weaving it on that loom.
Okay.
When the shafts kept dropping on me.
Was it a 16 shaft draft?
Maybe. And it was just heavy. And I always get a little bit like whenever it comes up now.
I don't remember the last thing we wove with an undulating twill.
No, it's one of the, maybe it's not quite an undulating twill, but it's part of the faves panel.
Oh, okay.
And so we did a bunch with it, and a lot of people got that pattern.
Oh,
and
our loom was not loving it.
No, the loom was just having a bad day about it for like a month.
Yeah, anything that gives the loom a hissy fit is not.
But other than that, like favorite weave, I love medallion, which is this is a medallion weave. It's just one of many. I love snake skin.
Oh, well, this one's got weave changes. You can see weave changes throughout.
Oh yeah. So see, I love the medallions. In fact, I chose medallion when it was my
custom.
Yeah, when I had my custom, I got medallion. I love a good snake skin. Is this snake skin on this one? No, Serenity? I think that's Serenity. Which, you know what? I also don't. Serenity's probably not my favorite. But I also do love it. Certain ones of it I don't like, certain ones of it I love. Just for the weaving process. Aesthetically, beautiful.
Somebody asks, how do we price our wraps? Kathy says she loves snakeskin. It's on her loom right now. I know, snakeskin's so good, right? It's so pretty. How do we price our wraps? That's a good question. It's not super straightforward. Although, we tend to go how long it's going to take us. Like the time is the biggest investment, right? Like the different wefts do make a difference for sure. Like silken, there are some that definitely cost significantly more.
Yeah, like we price per meter.
Right.
Plus extras.
Right. I guess that's the simple. I don't know that's what she was asking. I think she was more asking how do we come up with the pricing? Like how do we come up with the per meter price? So I think that's the question. Yeah, a lot of things factor in, but we try and look at the market too and see, we do fluctuate a little bit, maybe.
Yeah, like when everybody was
during COVID, I put the prices down pretty significantly because we didn't have a lot of work, so we had lots of time. And B, I also felt very compassionate for the world. Everybody was struggling. Everybody was worried about finances, and I thought people still want handwoven baby wrap, and I still want people.
We did that again
handwoven
recently too. Actually, we dropped our prices again. I mean, we had put them back up after COVID, but then brought them back down a little bit again.
Yeah, we do adjust based on what's going on in the world. Like we're not going to talk about politics, but things are a little shaky right now, right? We're Canadian. Things are a little shaky. So, we take that into account too. We're people.
And then, yeah, when we use hot, like silk warps, the price goes up.
Yeah, or sailin cotton. Sailin cotton's the same price, maybe even more than silk. Like it's not cheap. I love snakeskin. Gotta run. Okay, thank you so much for hanging out with us, Kathy. That was a blast. Oh, it is noon, so actually maybe it's time for us all to say goodbye. We've got 2 more minutes almost. If anybody has anything else they want to contribute to the conversation, we would love to hear what you have to say. Otherwise, I think we're just gonna wrap this up here. We'll give you a couple minutes to make any final questions, comments. Yeah, we're not opposed to running a little late, but we also don't need to if there's no questions. You love it, eh?
I do. It's just so like watery.
Water fluid. Yeah, I love the shine. Okay, well, I think we've got everyone covered then. So thank you so much for joining us. It was a pleasure to have this chat, and we will see you next Friday at 11 as well. I think we've decided we like this time worked well for us. All right, okay, thanks so much, and I'm going to try and turn off the live. We'll see how this works out. Always fun.